F11 here with me, Bryn. It is round 2 of season 28 Singapore Grand Prix, the second longest race in this calendar. Tonight I will not be alone. I am joined by the one, the only Zach Sweeney. Hello, Zach.
Hello, Brennan. You are too flattering, but yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, and of course, thank you to everyone for the opportunity. But yeah, what have we got in store tonight then, Bryn?
It's certainly going to be an interesting race. A little bit of action last week between the likes of Lewis and Reds got a bit heated in the chat. Hopefully we don't have the same sort of heated chat as we had last week. But also we could see the likes of Jay Tyler, who had a very good Grand Prix. Same with the likes of Felix and Aero. Aero starting P13, finishing P3. Felix starting P10, finishing P2. That is certainly a good race from them. But Paul Staber, after qualifying on pole, he finished 8th.
Definitely less than ideal, and Bahrain, definitely a challenging circuit. Must have been probably a race of wonders, but yeah, great start. And in such a short calendar, only 10 rounds this season, it is crucial to maximise every bit of points. And Jay Tyler and Felix getting off to a good start, very, very close at the front, very close point system. So we'll have to see who tames the streets of Singapore tonight into quali then. And well, what's the strategy then? Because it's probably a bit more different, and I've heard because of the humidity of Singapore, it's probably difficult to go for anything other than probably a medium tyre because the softs just degrade too quickly.
They certainly do. The longest lifespan of the softs is around 9 laps, but you'll see the drivers pitting in lap 4 to 6, and they will be going on to the hards. If they go for the mediums, they're going to be doing this 2-stop, which is, in my opinion, silly, because this is a 1-stop track, but you have to be very cautious on the tyres. For example, the mediums are better off for the whole Grand Prix to the hards, but the drivers, of course, are going to want that track position, so it's worth taking the risk and going onto the softs, but we'll have to see what happens.
Definitely we'll have to wait and see. I mean, the thing with Singapore, it's a very stop-start circuit. As you said, the longest track on the calendar, and it is very stop-start, so those rear tyres are going to be screaming for help. Obviously, up to 1,000 brake horsepower in these cars during qualifying. These tyres, these rear tyres especially, all of that power going to the rear tyres, they're going to be screaming for help. The front tyres won't be at any help either, because not going very fast, they're not going to be having that aerodynamic downforce to help, so they're going to be relying fully on the mechanical tyre grip to propel them around this circuit. So these tyres, the strategy is going to be really, really important, and those tyres, yeah, hopefully we've got some Lewis Hamilton type drivers out there to manage these tyres to the end, because, yeah, as you said, anything other than 2-stop is going to be very, very difficult.
Yeah, we're certainly going to see, probably, if we could hear radios from the drivers, which we sadly can't, we would most likely hear a few people crying about the tyres. But Tunetank is about to start a lap, coming around the final corner now. I am going to let you take him on a lap, as it's your first in F11.
Well, here we go then, on board with the AlphaTauri under the lights here in Singapore. Coming into turn 1 all the way to the right-hand side, maximise the track. 5th gear, interestingly enough, from the AlphaTauri. Not something you conventionally see, but keeping the higher gears maybe to help with the traction and coming through turn 2 and 3 and towards what I believe to be turn 4. Got to chuck it in before this long DRS straight. DRS, of course, wide open. The drag reduction system propelling him down this back straight, giving him that extra 20 kph as he approaches this left-hander. Very good overtaking opportunity if you can get it right. Maximise the track going in. 4th gear to keep the car rolling. And then through here where we saw George Russell and Romain Grosjean have a bit of a tussle back in 2019. What a pleasure it would be back to be in Singapore. But again, just got to be fully committed. 4th gear, roll the car, use the brakes to let it rotate, and then coming through towards the loop. Got to be really committed through here. Chuck it in, turn in early, get as close as you can to that inside wall. And again for this one, as we approach the go over the bridge, and then down the brakes in a straight line as soon as you can. Try not to lock up. 3rd gear, very high gears used from this AlphaTauri as he enters the 2nd DRS straight, propelling him down this back straight and towards the braking zone again. Goes powerful to the 2nd sector, of course, because he is the only one to have done the 2nd sector. But again, coming towards these corners, really got to be committed. Chuck it in, use the brakes, use the car, let it roll in, hook up the curbs on the inside once again as he comes through the chicane. Got to be very, very difficult to hook up, and once again missing the inside apex. A little bit want to get on that curb a little bit more, and then through into the final chicane. 3rd gear, hook this curb on the inside, roll the car, be gradual on the throttle, and then you've got to be balls to the wall through this final corner. Just a bit of a lift, bit of a dab on the brakes from Jonah, but it's a pretty decent bang clap, it must be said. Goes provisional pole, 37.5. Not the best time. What times would you be expecting from the top guys, Ben?
We could see going into the 34s. Maybe off of that, I'm guessing maybe 35. But can Lewis do anything with the medium tyres? No, coming straight into the pit lane. Ace Phelps. Oh, that's not a time. I am blind. No wonder I have glasses. Jimmy Allen, there we go. On the medium tyres, beats Tunetank. So though it looked like clean, and here comes Reds on them softs. Though it did look like a clean lap, obviously it was not the fastest. And of course, you do tend is that the less clean that the lap looks, the quicker they are. So the more that they're ragging that car around, the better it is. But Jamie is now coming around towards the second of the straights now, turn 5 if I am right, or turn 4. I'm messing up the corner names, but anyway, heading down now to end sector 1, coming into turn 7, very clean so far. Could have pushed the car a bit more, and as you said, coming into the Roman Grosjean and George Russell section of the track, Davies going fastest with a 35.1. So we could be getting into the 34s, to be honest, Zach. It could be interesting. This has, surely, it looks clean, but then it's also very sketchy.
Yeah.
As touches the wall there.
Probably just a banker lap more to get acclimatised to the circuit. Of course, Haas is, no mean feat around the Singapore, the Marina Bay Street circuit. I mean, they do hold the lap record, so they can't be that bad at all, can they, Bryn?
No, certainly. I've just noticed that CLE Storm is at an absolute shocker. It's just almost spun going over the bridge. An aero specialist is now getting... Oh, what the... Jamie's just gone and hit the wall and is blocking aero specialist on their lap. He's not getting out the way of that McLaren. What is going on? That McLaren's not spun. Oh, that was close.
Jeez. This is Singapore. I didn't know it was Japan.
Personally, in my opinion, I think that could have been a pole from Aero Specialist, but I think that was kind of wrong from Jamie, what they did there. That was like, you should have got out of the way. You had damage. You were blocking them. I get it, you were on a lap, but still you had damage. There's no point continuing on, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was only a 38.3. Like, it's only going to put him in provisional P7. Not exactly going to be the best of laps, is it?
No.
But Aero Specialist, I mean, he's still got 11 minutes. Just needs to wheel it back to the pits. Luckily, the main thing is they didn't make any substantial contact to give them both 5-place grid penalties, because we know what Codemasters is like in qualifying with that. But he can still get it back to the pits. He's still got 10 minutes to get it back to the pits and get another lap in. So, I mean, we can still see him challenge for pole. Still P4 despite that massive, massive moment. So, I mean, we could still see him up there, 35.1, and I'm definitely convinced we're going to see people into the 34s, as you said.
Yeah, it could be a very interesting topic coming to the race, because you see these drivers, they're going to be pushing that car around the track. Them soft tyres might die off very quick because, of course, you've got to have extreme time management, and some drivers here may have that pace, but just not have the time management to back up that. I mean, also the fact of track position is very important. This is where I'm coming on to with the pace and the where you use your tyres during the race. It's like you want to go for the track position and use as much of the tyre as you can, but then you're putting more wear for the start of the race, and then the formation lap also adds on a couple of percent before the start of the race. Of course, this track is very known for overheating tyres, but I am going to put a bet in that though people are going to want to get that track position, they are also going to want to stay on the mediums, as CLE Storm goes into the 35.8.
Very good time on the medium tyres. I mean, 2 laps old though. You know,
Cost.
as you said, it definitely could cost him every little tiny bit of percentage counts. If you think back to F1 2018 and the Hypersofts, I believe it was, they were dead within a lap. And even over the course of 5 laps, they were bloody dead around Singapore. But this is 2020, but still definitely true. Track position, of course, around a street circuit is always going to be important. And raw pace, I mean, it's a 31 lap race despite the length of Singapore. It's a very long race. That's where the points are scored. You need to hook it up every lap. You need to get the strategy on point. Being a few tenths quicker in qualifying is great and all, but, you know, it's where the points are scored at the end of the day. So we'll see. I mean, Cito, Storm both look good up there, still on the mediums, as James goes quickest,
First,
34.5, smashes that provisional power time out of the park. Great benchmark, but can he hold it?
it'll be an interesting topic considering Davey, his teammates at P2. We've got a Williams one too, something we haven't actually.
No, we don't.
Josh goes on the mediums and absolutely wipes them out the water. That is actually very good for the mediums, to be fair. The mediums are actually 8/10 slower on average to the softs, so imagine Josh bolting on the softs. He could be getting. Oh, that is a blatant corner cut by Lewis there, just noticed. Ace Phelps, somebody who I actually personally know from MNT, is now coming through Sector 3. Gave us a lot of useful data. That's one thing I like. But anyway, coming through to the final corner now. What can that AlphaTauri do? Holding 6th gear now. Going upside DRS open. P3 for the AlphaTauri driver. Just going to go on to the race now. Safety cars are a common thing. And around this track, there's something that I think you might not want to think about. As we both had a moment together under safety car, haven't we?
We definitely have.
Yeah.
We move on. It didn't happen, never happened at all.
That's the game's
we'll
fault,
put that
not
down to
mine.
Codemasters.
That
Yeah,
was
we'll
the
put it
game.
down to Codemasters.
But Jay Tyler has gone up to P2 with a 34.5 on the mediums. Somebody who you were talking to me about before the stream, but we won't go on about that.
No, I mean, we've got a bit of history, but I mean, he's second in the championship, currently sits second in qualifying, cannot knock him for that whatsoever. Still 5/10 off the provisional pole, just goes to show what that Haas is doing around this circuit. He is flying. But, you know, between JT and James, it is very close, and even then, you know, the likes of Ace and Davey is still very close. So it is a very competitive grid, and every little tiny glimpse of time matters around this street circuit.
It certainly does. Of course, all I'm going to move on is to the gaps between the times right now. Andrew Cameron really disappointing from W so far. Not really, if you think about it, because there's close. The gap between the grid in short, sorry, was very close because it's a short circuit. It's not down to like set up as much. It's down to just how quick that driver can get the car around there. But this track is a lot more set up, a lot more driver skill, because you need a lot, and I mean a lot of concentration to get around here cleanly. There's multiple times where I've seen drivers absolutely flop midway through the race just because they've lost their concentration. It'll be interesting, certainly. I keep saying that. I need to refrain using that word, to be honest.
Find a thesaurus, Bryn. That might might help you a little bit. But,
yeah, certainly.
But no, I get what you mean. I mean, you look left, there's a wall, you look right, there's a wall, you look in front of you, there's a wall, you look behind you, there's a wall. It's almost as if it's like a, you have to put a 50p coin on the apex every time. You have to nail every corner. Otherwise, you're probably going to find yourself in the wall, and that would definitely not be good for your race. I remember my first league race ever was around the streets of Singapore, and I remember probably hitting around about 4 different times for a new wing. So it is definitely challenging. You have to keep your eyes pinpointed. You have to you can't get complacent. Otherwise, the streets are just going to gobble you up. They are very unforgiving. You know, you've got the other street circuits, the likes of Monaco, Baku, Melbourne. They're, you know, other than Monaco, those two, you know, they're more forgiving. But Monaco and Singapore especially, you do not want to get your eyes off the circuit for a missed second. Otherwise, you're in the wall.
You really are. And also, it's the fact of keeping close to that current front. Of course, we all know how bad the dirty air is on this game. Being close, of course, you're going to want to be trying to push them around. But through the middle sector and the last, it's going to be certainly hard because sitting close, you're going to want to do that. But also, some drivers ahead, say, might have dirty air, or because they're running lower downforce, may struggle turning in, or might brake early. And you might not expect it, and there you go. Like you said, wing gone because you've run into the back of someone. But I tell you, Jamie looks to be on a good luck right now. Josh's teammate, of course, Josh's been on pole. Can he keep up with his teammate, or will he not be able to?
Well, they always say in Formula One, the first guy you got to beat is your teammate, and well, that's always the guy you got to aim to beat. Well, I mean, he is quite far down. Jamie in 14th, Josh in P1. What is the gap? 2.5 seconds. That is huge. It's almost the difference between Mazepin and Schumacher in real life, but probably on a bit more of a lesser scale. But I mean, he needs to hook up this lap. We'll see what he can do. Josh, more than happy with his time. Was that a crash or a retirement in the pit lane?
That
Is
is
a
a
retirement in the
retirement
pit lane? Well, I mean, he's definitely confident, and I do not blame him. Jamie, 2.5 seconds down in the first sector. Nah, he doesn't look too confident around Marina Bay.
Do I certainly say it? Does he deserve to be promoted? That's the question. Being the quickest by a tenth on 8/10 slower tyres, that's
Pretty impressive.
it is. Aero Specialist has just bought on a new set of tyres, I've just noticed, so they'll be going out probably. What can Reds do? Stays P9, okay. They didn't have the best of laps, but somebody who is on a out. Here we go. Felix is on a lap now. That was a very long out lap from the Red Bull driver. Their out lap lasted a long time. Anyway, coming through towards turn 5 now. What can they do on this medium tyre? Can they repeat what Josh did? Because, oh, there goes part of the... Wait, what? Oh, that's a part of Ferrari front wing that they've just run over. Surprised they didn't get a puncture there. But anyway, coming through the first pack to Sector 2, oh, that was a little bit of a Tokyo moment for the Honda-powered car. Of course, being Japanese-powered, obviously wanted to show some of its heritage around the Singapore streets. Anyway, coming into this, where this used to be the Singapore Sling. Oh, that was absolutely tail happy there. What can they do going into the hairpin now? Of course, 3 DRS zones on this game, added in 2019, that never actually got added into the 2019 game.
It's looking good.
Somebody's just commented in the chat saying Josh is a goat. More like Josh has just got raw pace on the medium tyres.
We'll have to wait and see if he can uphold it for 31 laps in the race. I mean, he's got the championship leader on a very good lap, as it seems. Oh, he looks as though he's driving it very Max Verstappen-esque, really on the front end, light rear end. But it's working for him. We'll have to wait and see. Very qualifying orientated, it must be said. But if he's comfortable with it, let's see what he can do across the line. Is it going to match it? Oh, ever so close. Under a tenth. What is that? Just under 4/100ths of a second, less than half a tenth between the two tyrants at the front. I think we're in store for a pretty good race sprint.
I think we are. I've noticed that Davies now out on the medium tyres, so maybe Davies thinking, I want to hop on this trend and I want to be a part of these fast drivers right now. But Harry Flanagan said he won't finish. That's a bit of a F moment for poor Josh, but Reds is now retired from the session. Apparently he is a bottle job and he's a quali merchant. So as you were saying that maybe he won't be able to withhold that. Oh, that was a deep lockup. And okay, apparently I just looked back on a McLaren, not the Williams driver. No, what was that? I've noticed the driver has gone up. That is CPI Black Phoenix, I think. Going up into P6, which was certainly good. Davies got damaged to that Williams, so I don't think they're going to improve on that lap time. But let's see. Oh, 6 seconds left. I don't think the Racing Point is going to do it. He's going to miss it. Oh, he just missed out the Racing Point. Oh.
Heartbreak.
Let's see what this McLaren do, though. Aero, I'll let you commentate with the rest of his lap.
Aero, well, we'll see what he can do. Coming through, purple just to the middle sector. We'll see how accurate that actually is. Currently sits P3 on the soft compound tyre, so going for the aggressive qualifying orientated strategy here. Wants to get the track position through these corners here. You really have to just give it everything. Get as close as you can to that inside wall. Doesn't hit the curb on the inside there. Hits the curb on the inside there. A good bit of a kiss as he comes through into the final chicane. Third gear and validates it there. Bit too much, bit too ambitious through there and messes up his final lap. But still on the second row. And still definitely going to give the front two a bit of a headache going into the turn one, because those soft tyres are going to be pretty good off the start. Warm up a lot more efficiently than the medium, so he could have a look, but it's not the longest run to turn one, is it?
No, it's comparative to some tracks. It is very short. But we've just got the Mercedes of Sticky going up into P4 to make it a Mercedes lockout for 4th and 5th. Now Ace Phelps coming around the final sector now in that AlphaTauri. What can they do? Can they improve? Come on, lad, you can do it. See how they do now. Going round the final corner. All that Alfa Romeo was just in the way, but cannot improve positions-wise. But we've got Warren Haig now coming into the pit lane, and Dino is slow as well. So I think it's time to say that qualifying is over.
Pretty much all done and dusted. 18 minutes, all in the books. We've got Josh Sidney, on pole, I should say, not currently on pole. On pole ahead of Felix and Aero Specialist, rounding off the top 3. 2 of those on the mediums. The front 2 locked out with the mediums, and Felix, of course, leading the championship. Be good if he can respond. Of course, short distance season, only 10 rounds, so every round is just that bit more crucial. You have to make sure you're on it every race, and Felix has proven to be so. His championship rival JT down in P5 on the softs, still definitely going to be good, and of course, as you said, the risk of a safety car is very high. So still to play for. Qualifying never ever tells the full story, and especially at a street circuit like this one, well, we'll have to wait and see what's in store. 31 laps ahead of us, Bryn. What do you think?
I think there's going to be some issues off the start for some of the soft runners, because I have got a bad feeling that there might be a lap 1 safety car, and of course these soft runners are not going to be able to use this to advantage and pit in, because the hards won't go to the end, so they're going to have to make another stop, whereas the medium drivers can just stay out to lap 11, 12, and then come in for the hards later on and have fresh tyres at the end. I mean, I think the soft tyres are certainly a mistake by most drivers.
Probably. They're going to die off very quickly, and I mean, you do, as you said, with the hard tyres, even with the fresher tyres, you do have to have a significant pace advantage to even have a chance at overtaking. Of course, very limited. Down into turn 1, you've got the DRS, but it's not the best overtaking opportunity. You've got down towards turn 7, I believe, is still a good overtaking opportunity, and then you've got towards turn 14. So it is possible, but you do need to be quick where you need to be quick, and if you don't have the raw pace advantage, you're just going to get stuck behind, warm up your tyres. So it's definitely going to be a battle of attrition for the drivers today. Literally going to be, to finish first you must finish and play the strategy card.
Well, Josh is on pole with Felix in P2, Aero P3, Stiggy P4, Tyler P5, James Dovey P6, CPR Black Phoenix P7, Ace Phelps in P8, Davey in P9, and Voince in P10, taking the final fixed position, if you know what I mean, like fixed tyre position, sorry. It took me a while to process that for some reason. Must be like the Williams in real life taking so long to think.
It'd definitely make a cup of tea by the time they get around to the finish line, but we don't talk about
that. We're not talking about F11, by the way, anybody who's here, because I don't want you to take offence to that, because we did say real life. I just want to say that because I know there are quite a few people out there that are quite snowflakey.
They'd melt in Singapore, it's too humid.
Anyway, I'm just going to say Sticky and Jay Tyler's tyres in the pit lane right now are the mediums. So, question mark 2 stop. But that's, last time I said anything like that, it ended up being completely wrong with Jake. Because I said, oh, there's the mediums in the pit lane. Or the softs, whatever it was. I went, oh, maybe they're starting on the hards or the mediums. Completely wrong. It was absolutely humiliating.
Well, that's not the worst thing you've probably ever done, is it, Bryn? Certain Instagram lives, but we'll move on to that.
Oh, why you're bringing this into PSGL comms?
No,
we do not talk about this.
We go to the formation lap though, led by Josh Sidney. F1 insides, well, they're not very accurate in real life. Medium, soft, medium, or medium hard. Well, powered by AWS, Bryn. What would you take on those predicted pit stop strategies?
I'm going to say that Josh Sidney, I have not got the predicted pit stops so far, but I will say all the medium runners will be doing, of course, medium hard, because you cannot do medium soft. It is absolutely impossible. But the hard runners, they're most likely going to do hard medium, because hard soft is just, stupid. You're wasting your time.
You have to limit the amount of time you're in the pit lane. I think you said before the race about 25.5 seconds.
It was.
that is, you need to limit the amount of time because that's so difficult to make up. The softs just die off. You can't make the most of their pure pace advantage before, you have to come in again. So track position is important. Time to make up in the pit is very important. A safety car could definitely mix things up. Those on the hards, if they have to make an early stop, that's really going to throw things into turmoil. Only 2 starters on the grid on the hard tires. Those out of the top 10. We've got Lewis in last place and Jimmy Allen down in P14. Be interesting to see what they can do. But majority of people outside the top 10. Bit of a spin from Lewis at the back, pulling a Max Verstappen while he's trying to warm his tires up. But what I was alluding to, everyone outside the top 10 on the mediums, except for Warren, of course, and the 2 hard runners.
Yeah, I'm just going to come to something that somebody's just in the chat. Watch out, Jay Tyler will take Josh out like he took me out. You did say that he is quite an aggressive person. So we could see something happen maybe if we've had a warning. But the one person that I'm glad that are separated right now is Reds and Lewis, because they did have a moment last week and... well, Lewis wasn't that friendly afterwards, that's all I'm going to say. There was a few choice words, to say the least.
Well, hopefully it's a reset as we go into Singapore, because, we want a good race. We don't want it all coming together. We just want a good race. No politics or outside feuds coming in. Got to keep it professional out there, lads. Still all to play for. And you've got to make sure you don't crash into anyone, because that, well, for obvious reasons, it's going to be less than ideal. Was Josh and Felix both line up on the grid. You can see Felix pointing already to try and get to the right hand side. If only that would have, wouldn't get reset by Codemasters. It'd be nice if you can point yourself in a position, but he's looking aggressive. I'm sure Felix is going to want to make it 2 and 2, wouldn't you say?
He really is, because of course that championship lead already. If we can actually have a better camera view game, can we please have a better camera view off the start here? The lights will be coming up any second. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights now are illuminated, and it's lights out. I know where we could go. Good. That is a very slow start from McLaren. There's damage already to that Alfa Romeo back there. Felix has taken the lead into turn 1. Josh Sidney almost lost the position to the Mercedes, but it's very kicking off between the back there. Virtual safety car already, and Aero Specialist is already back down in P18. Ooh, that was a very dirty start to the Grand Prix. Black Phoenix has got damage. A lot of people have got damage.
VSC luckily managing to save him, of course. The VSC basically just puts the race on pause. Everyone has to do 40% race speed delta. And, well, Aero Specialist, it looked as though he just sort of stalled off the grid, didn't really go anywhere. Could it have been anti-stall? And of course Felix got off to an incredible start. Josh almost got swarmed by the likes of Stiggy, who started P2. James off to a good start as well. Could we see some moves as we go green again? Hopefully safety car, the virtual safety car comes in relatively soon, because Felix, great start up to the P1, and Josh is not going to be wanting to let that go too easily. So we go green once again. It's been a great start for Felix, but Josh is going to be right up behind him as they come through off the tunnel. Stiggy there ready to pounce as well if these two come together. No DRS, of course, until lap 3. The Mercedes looking punchy. Can he get to the inside? He's going to look, but hasn't got the balls, per se, to go for the move into that particular corner under the brakes. Looks as though everyone's just trying to funnel their way through one by one, sort of in a conga line. Nowhere to get through just yet, so probably just going to have to wait, sit back and wait for DRS, would you say?
Yeah, because of course you don't want to waste up all your ERS already off this restart, because it's not a full proper safety car restart, if you get what I mean. So there's no point in wasting anything. I mean, I will say that Lewis has gone up 2 positions, but that is due to people having damage. But Felix has had a very good start, I will say. I'm going to say after that start, I've got to applaud it. He timed that perfectly. I mean, the only time I've seen a better start was myself, but I'm not going to say anything about that. Don't want to say anything on stream. But
Very
anyway,
but,
I mean, at least you haven't spun in front of Jarno Opmeer, have you?
can't say I have, no.
Yeah, so that is certainly embarrassing when you do that. Was wait for the timing glitch, which was apparently fixed in this update. Hasn't, obviously. To fix itself out, as somebody spammed in the chat the thumbs down. Would you mind not doing that? That is not very confidence inspiring, to say the least. But Josh Sidney is right on the back of Felix now, using up some of that ERS Felix is, but Josh has got more. Finally, it has sorted itself all out, and we can not worry about anything's happening. But there is some battling going on at the back between the likes of Aero Specialist, Reds, and them lot. Aero, of course, not having the best of starts, as you saw as well with me. The grid is already very split out, to be honest. That is very, like, odd. You'd expect the grid to be bunched up very quickly off the start, but Singapore's given us some action.
Yeah,
As Maddie, I'm sorry,
it?
but if only somebody could time them out, because this is just annoying, because I'm getting the notifications of message, and it's just them putting thumbs down. It's just like, there's no need, I'm sorry. There's utterly no need. But anyway, we go back to the action. Felix has put out a 1.2 second gap to Josh Sidney now. And Stiggy is now 2 seconds. Them soft tyres are not faring well, as you obviously can tell. But anyway, Josh is starting to pull that gap slightly down, but Josh has got more ERS than Felix. There are no real tight battles going on right now. It's quite spread between the lot right now.
Definitely, it's rather strange. I mean, you don't often see field spread this early in the race. Of course, the different tyre combines definitely going to have a massive say in that, but Felix doing his job. He's got into lap 3, he's got the 1 second gap he needs, and now it is just hammer time. Get his head down. But we've got an interesting little train going on here, the battle for the podium. James on the back of Stiggy as these soft tyres are struggling for grip, and you've got the mediums now closing in. Only lap 3, and Stiggy very much struggling. You can see the Williams really closing up on him through turn 18 and into 19, really struggling to avoid the back, and Josh Sidney given a 3 second time penalty already up in P2. Not the most ideal start to this Grand Prix at all, but James's priority needs to be to get past, because he's got Ace and 2 medium runners closing in behind, and with DRS they're going to be pretty deadly. He needs to get the car in between himself and the guys behind. He needs to get himself onto that podium and try and get there, but further at the front, Felix is doing his job, keeping out of the 1 second range and keeping himself safe. But it looks as though Lewis, Bryn, oh no, I thought there was a little bit of a battle between Lewis and Reds, but it's just Reds coming into the pit lane.
It is. Somebody has asked, what is the black and white flag next to Davies' name mean? It means he has got a time penalty added on to the end of his race. I will show you now. He has got a 5 second penalty, so that could have been, as I missed it, sorry, but Jay Tyler and Reds are now, Reds is coming into pit lane, but it means that he's got a 5 second penalty for either coming into contact with another driver or speeding into the pit lane, as it's now really heating up between the lot. As I'm sorry, but this person's really starting to get on my wick for spamming the thumbs down. It's not because the fact of it's a thumbs down, it's because it's coming up with the notification multiple times on the PlayStation. It's just rather annoying while trying to commentate. But anyway, now this racing point is right on the back of the McLaren, heading down to end sector 2 into sector 3. As I look back on the racing point, it puts me onto an Alfa Romeo. Great game. And apparently, somebody's just said he's been speeding in the pits again. Classic DW. Speeding is into the pit lane is very easy around Singapore. I mean, and it's a very awkward pit lane, as I have learned with somebody. Oh, that is James round. James is round. And it's just parked there, is waiting for cars to go past. That is heavy damage to that Williams. Jamie gets a 3 second time penalty now.
Safety car, full course yellow.
Full course.
Interesting. Well, this could definitely spice things up. This is going to help Ace, who's in P3 on the softs and was planning to pit anyway. He's going to get a massive advantage out of this.
He really is. As well, these soft runners, like you say, they can actually pit in now, get onto the hards. It's actually the prime point for them to come in for the hard. So this is, like you say, it's helped a lot of people out. As I am just gonna say, somebody in the chat is now saying that Jamie sucks. Can we just not hate on drivers? It's the same person who was putting the thumbs down. Obviously somebody's hating, for no reason. I mean, he couldn't help it. These things happen. As we all know, it's easy to make mistakes. I've made plenty of them. Zach's made plenty of them. It's one of these things that happen.
Yeah, let's not be so quick to jump to conclusions. Let's all keep it nice and calm, have a nice, unbiased view.
Okay, Jamie's my friend. Okay, that's really
slag him off
okay.
all you like then.
Yeah, okay, you can slag him off. You keep slagging him. That's fine. Sorry, I just didn't know like whether you. Just from my point of view, it seemed a bit off.
Keep going, honestly. Critique is every move. You can see under safety car, he's missing all these apexes in the middle of the track. What is this Haas doing? Honestly, he needs to maximise the track. Even under full course yellow, got to get everything out of it. Honestly, but no. Jokes aside, we all need to keep it constructive and have a nice stand back and enjoy the race, because strategically, it's looking to be pretty good. As Ace, is he going to come into the pits? We'll have to wait and see as he comes through turn, I believe. Yeah, 21 into the pit lane. Well, what tyres is he going to strap on then? Hards? Mediums? What do you think?
Hards. Definitely going to go hards to end now. I will say. Jamie now comes in the pit lane. Medium tyres, the medium runners will be going out for a few more laps. I'm not surprised. I would have came in if I was them. Because a lot of other drivers are coming in now. I would have taken advantage of this.
Definitely make the most of the race restart, you know. If you've got damage or whatever it might be, there's really no point in sticking out, and it could cost them. We'll just have to wait and see. It's too early to sort of call. That's the thing with early safety cars. It just muddles up with your pit windows. You don't know where to go, but it's definitely helped out the softs and a lot of people onto the hard compound tyres. So pretty much equal playing fields up and down. We'll just have to wait and see. Time will tell once we go green again, and hopefully we're back under. It's a very widespread field, so hopefully within a couple of laps we can get back to green flag racing and not have a case such as Bahrain of 2021, where we spend the first third of the race under full course yellow.
Certainly. I'm just going to go back to the tyres. I can see Felix is really trying to keep the heat in the mediums, but I'm still going to keep coming back to the fact of why didn't they pit? It would have been logical to go on the hards now, whereas everybody else was already on them. Because it's just one of these things that are confusing that people, I think, have messed up on. But Andrew Cameron, I'm enjoying the report of the co-commentators here. Hashtag banter. Of course, some reason Codemasters never know. Oh, somebody's got a 3-second time point for speed, not speed, for exceeding track limits under safety car. What?
They're going to be kicking themselves at that one. That is.
That is, yeah, that is something to not be proud of, to say the least. Just going to the game, Codemasters haven't updated that safety car since 2016. Wow. Because of course we used the AMG GTR for the safety car in real life, along with the Aston Martin. Of course, that was, we didn't use the Aston Martin in 2020, but we got the AMG GTS in the game. They haven't even bothered to update it to the GTR version. Lazy.
Well, hopefully EA can do something about that. Whether we have to pay 50 quid for it or not is going to be another story, but we'll just have to wait and see in July.
We've got to wait till 2022 for EA to take over.
Oh, really? Okay, then.
It's going to be a Codemaster game until 2022. But there's also a release date apparently being leaked by Microsoft. July 16th was leaked.
Well, we'll wait and see how reliable that leak is then. July 16th, mark it down, guys, and well, hopefully they've got a nice basis of where the performance is, because already, through pre-season and the first round, I still couldn't tell you who the fastest or the favourite is in real life. It's so close, especially in that midfield, and it looked very close at the front between Mercedes and Red Bull. So we know maybe we're in for a very good 2021 season. But back to PSGL 11, where the action is taking place tonight. We've got a very close top two, both looking feisty. Felix so far with the pace. Josh got a bit swamped off the start originally on lap 1. Didn't get very much ideal start here to light. Felix got the lead into turn 1, and then Josh had to sit behind in the dirty air, losing his high grip over time. Safety car in this lap, so Felix does become the effective safety car, backs the pack up, controls the pace, now weaving like a snake to warm up those front and rear tyres to get the optimal grip. We've seen already he's good off the restart of a VSC. Let's see what he's like off the restart of a real full course safety car. Probably a similar story, but his probably prime objective is to back him up into the likes of Storm, who's done very good to get himself up into P3, and obviously Von in P4 as well. He's going to be wanting to sort of feed into the Sharks in a sense. He doesn't want to spend his time battling. He wants to get his head down. He wants to open up his gap behind, and having Storm battle with Josh is going to be the best way to do that. He already cleared the 1 second range in the first stage of the race. He's going to be backing them all up. He's not punched it just yet. He has now punched it. He's caught him off guard. We go green once again. Bit shaky through the last corner is the Red Bull, and here is Storm. Very shaky. Big moment for him. He's going to be under pressure from the McLaren as they go side by side, and the McLaren going to get himself into P3. Josh putting the pressure on Felix, of course, with a 3-second time penalty. Not the most ideal start for Felix then, but shaky starts. Everyone's still trying to warm up their tyres as we go green once again through then towards turn 5. And Josh putting the pressure on, using his ERS to gain that horsepower down this back straight. But it looks as though Felix is just about going to hang on. Anything going down further back. We've got Lewis on the back of Jimmy and Stiggy on the back of Lewis. Anything else happening?
Sato is on the back of Jamie, but like I say, Black Phoenix is watching the battle between Dino and Davey W now. Davey's going to take that position, but will Black Phoenix try anything? He's going to go around the outside of their teammate, as Reds is also going to follow suit. That was a very good move there. But what is Jay Tyler doing now? Oh, that was a send from Jay Tyler. Now coming off the start as LRB is in the chat. We won't talk about some recent events, but now Reds, and that is Black Phoenix. Black Phoenix? Yeah, Black Phoenix round. And Reds has got damage, and is waiting for Black Phoenix to go past. That was interesting. Anyway, Sticky is now on the back of Lewis. Sticky going on to the medium tyre, interestingly. Interesting. Jimmy's now got damage. Jimmy's got damage on that racing point. Oh dear, some of the Jimmy fans in the chat aren't going to be happy. But now Lewis is right in the back of Jimmy. Sticky is right in the back of Lewis. We're going to have a 3 back. Oh, Jamie's now got a 3-second time penalty. Same with Warren. Multiple drivers getting 3-second time penalties already. Black Phoenix getting past his teammate again. Aero Specialist now going for the move on Jamie into turn 1. Jamie missing an M play. Oh dear. But most importantly, let's go back to the front with Josh Sidney, who is pushing to catch up to Felix now. Of course, not long until they will be pitting off of them tyres. This is where I'm going to go back to safety car. They should have pit in because they're going to lose a lot of time now, because the grid is still quite close as Dino and Reds are in the pit lane currently. But a Sticky has gone right round the outside of Lewis. But now what will Ace Phelps do? Will Ace Phelps be able to get past using a lot of ERS, as my voice is starting to get a bit winded? But now Jay Tyler and Davey as well, but Jonah Thanks is looking for it as well. It's very close between the back and that, but now Sticky's right in the back of Jimmy Allen. Is he going to go for the move now? ERS being used. Will Jimmy defend this? No, Jimmy's going to keep the door wide open, and it's going to be sent under the brakes by Sticky. Oh, bit of contact between the two there. Sticky losing a bit of traction. Jimmy's still ahead in the number 27 Racing Point, also shared by Nico Hulkenberg, and oh, that was close. That could have been a spinner, as you learnt your lesson before when you sent it on me, and you spawned and retired. Yeah, I had to bring that up because Sticky had a little half spin there and lets Lewis through. Oh, as now Ace Phelps is like, oh, come to Papa and let's get this down to action. DRS, I think, should be enabled now. As Josh Sidney gets a 3-second time penalty. That's one of the leaders now with a penalty. That is going to cost him. Coming through towards the DRS straight now. Yes, DRS is enabled for the rest of this Grand Prix. Got 13 watching. What can Josh do? He needs to get past Felix and pull a gap. As Track Formula said, Joshua Sidney, they go to Monaco. Well, this is not Monaco, mate. This is Singapore. There's now J. Tyler Davey. And now battling. Oh, J. Tyler pushing Davey through there. J. Tyler's now going to try to the outside. Davey defends it well, but J. Tyler's going to go around the outside into the next corner. Oh, and try spinning Davey almost there with that side pod glitch. But anyway, Lewis is right in the back of Jimmy Allen. Jimmy Allen is really defending well with that damage. But now DRS is open for Lewis. Lewis is just not got the pace to get past. Considering that Racing Point has got damage, he's not struggling that much. He's just letting the gap between him and his teammate get bigger and bigger. Voyance is now 2.3 behind Josh Sidney, 7/10, and then Josh will be secured in P2. But these guys have still got a pit. I say one more lap before they pit. Who knows? It won't be long though. Phew. Been an action-packed couple of laps, hasn't it?
Definitely has been. It's been a very close battle at the front. We've got Lewis now getting the exit off turn 21 up the inside of the Racing Point. He needs to get this done. He doesn't want to sit around now, and he's got the move done. Jimmy Allen, through all his defending, white lining the hell out of that Racing Point, now backing up the rest of the field, backing everyone up, and he's got the Mercedes on his back now. But as you were saying, Bryn, very action-packed couple of laps, everyone making those crucial moves. But up the front, very interesting, as you said, that they didn't pit. But here goes Stiggy then. Is he going to go to the inside of turn 6? No, he's going to go to the outside of turn 6. It'll turn to the inside of turn 7, under the brakes on the mediums. Can he get it done? Bit of contact between the two. He has to absorb brought to the runoff area. Luckily, no major contact between. But
just look behind. It's not PG. It is not PG behind. The two cars are inside. I didn't know Ferrari and McLaren wanted to create a hybrid car. And again. Certainly getting a bit interesting and a bit heated between the two. Codemasters, can we keep it PG next time? Thank you.
Certainly an unorthodox way to get through on a car, but he's managed to get it done. An aero specialist probably going to be kicking himself and wondering why he left the door open that wide. Sticky on the back of Jimmy, still trying to get through before we were rudely interrupted by a certain scene of unorthodoxy.
That deserves to be on a special website.
Yeah, well, a certain special couple of websites, and definitely if you've got kids watching, turn away now, because Codemasters definitely do not like kids watching this game, it seems, even for a PEGI 3 game. But Josh Sidney out of the DRS range of Felix up in front. These two still needing to pit, and Josh with a 6-second penalty. Felix is very much in control of this race, but when he pits, he's going to come out in a lot of traffic. He's going to come out amongst the lights of probably Jay Tyler and co, and they're going to have to fight their way through, probably costing them a lot of time. So I'd say the likes of Stiggy and Ace are in very good positions here.
They generally are. I mean, Ace, I would definitely say, is in a better position than Stiggy, because Stiggy is on the mediums. I'm going to have to pit again, and that is Jamie. Oh dear, Jamie's got no front wing now after only just getting onto the medium tyres. I don't think Jamie's friend in the chat is going to be a bit too happy with that. Aero Specialist is on the back of Warren Haig. Game, please be nice to us. Please do not show us any more PEGI 18 stuff. We've already been scarred between a McLaren and a Ferrari. We don't want to see a hybrid version of them. As Ace Phelps is now catching up to the back of Jimmy Allen on the hard tyres. Maddie Price, poo. Jamie's retired in the pit lane now. That is Jamie's race over after 12 laps of the Singapore Grand Prix around the Marina Bay circuit. They have given up and retired the car. But Gunther Steiner is going to be wanting to butt smash his door, as I just had to say but, because I don't want to actually say the word live on stream, because it is YouTube, it is not Twitch.
Well, he's still got one Haas in the race, and he's currently P2, but with a 6-second penalty, and Haas is coming into the pits. He's going to say hello to his teammate. The two leaders coming into the pits. Is Vaughan's going to follow him in? No, he's going to go for the overcut. Very interesting strategy from the McLaren then. Does he still have the pace in those tyres then as the Red Bull comes out and definitely going to be a race between these two as the provisional positions now sort themselves out. As Stiggy probably in a good position, Jimmy Allen as well in a good position, but with the damage, as you said, Bryn, he's still got Ace behind him on the much fresher hard tyres and going to be looking to get his way through.
I am going to say this, that Ace Phelps is net P1 right now. Oh no, more Peggy, not Peggy 3 stuff, not Peggy 3. Oh dear, game. That's not what we want to see. Just stay away from each other, you guys. Just like spread yourself out, like Kevin Magnussen and Roman Grosjean needed to do. Spread yourselves out. Yeah.
Social distance, guys. COVID is
yeah,
still
come
a
on.
thing.
Let's instead of 2 meters, let's make it what 15. Sounds good. Lewis is catching up to Vonitz though, so Vonitz maybe does not have the pace on the mediums that he just thought he could stay out because maybe it's just they thought it was a good idea. But they'll probably pit in this lap. If they don't, all I'm going to say is they are stupid in my head. They are gonna, though they want the fresher tyres at the end, they're gonna pay for it by dropping a lot more positions. But like I say, Ace Phelps is net P1 right now, but we've got the likes of Felix One who could come back, but Voyance is now finally into the pit lane. Taking it very slow and steady there. At least they didn't just stop suddenly. And there was no other car behind to create a bit of commotion. If you don't know where this is heading. Zach? Did you know what I was talking about?
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe just a little bit. Anyway, now McLaren of Aero Specialist is finally far enough away from Warren Haig, but he's going to go for the move on Jimmy Allen now, using his overtake button, going to use up all that ERS, going for the inside into turn 7 now. That is a very plain and simple move for the McLaren. Oh, there's more Peggy 18 stuff, as that is just them going in deep. Oh, what the? Sector 1 yellow flags. Oh, that is Dino. Dino's having issues. Josh Sidney has got another time penalty. As Dino's got some slight issues, but Josh Sidney's now gone off track as well. But Josh Sidney's on 9 seconds worth of penalties now. Jesus. But CLE Storm and him are battling. Will Storm keep it there? He's going to try. Oh, it's not worth it though. He doesn't make the move stick. But Felix is in the points, most crucially. And that is virtual safety car. Oh, God. I'm going to let you take over for a minute.
Of debris on the track. There's probably too much of it, too much carbon fibre on the circuit, so they're going to have to clear it up for a little bit. But yeah, definitely got a bit topsy-turvy between those guys, and a bit feisty, it must be said, to put it bluntly. Looks like the faster guys trying to struggle their way through, and just need to be patient rather than try and force it. But definitely Codemaster's not helping at all in terms of the ghosting and the inconsistency with that, but they're going to be wanting to get it back on under the green flags. It looks like it's ending. Is that Jimmy Allen and Aero Specialist both into the pit? So they're going to be going in together. There's a bit of contact again, and they've jumped over each other. The McLaren's gone underneath the racing point and spinning the pit lane. We go back green once again. A couple of people have left, so not too entirely sure what's happened here. We've got Davey on the back of JT. He's going to have the DRS towards turn 1. And into turn 2, big slide though on the hard tyres. Must have cooled down too much on the under the VSC. And Felix up into P7. Where is Josh Sidney? He's down in P11. What happened to Josh?
Josh pit in. He pit in along with Felix, but Josh is also got 9 seconds worth of penalty, whereas Felix, the previous race leader, has got 0. So that could really cost Josh in his way of the win. And could we see Felix take another win? Because of course he's got a push, but James Dovey is out, and that is in the pit lane. So that is all fine and dandy, but the grid has spread quite considerably. Right, let me just, while I get my English back, I'll let you take over for a second.
Yeah, while we let Bryn recompose himself and get himself back onto things, we'll have a quick look at what's going on. Not too much going on in terms of on-track battles, but of course we've got hammer time for Felix. He needs to get his head down. He's got clear air, luckily found a gap in the traffic to try and get his way back up. No penalties so far for the provisional race leader. He needs to get his head down though and focus to the end of the race. We've now hit just before the halfway point as he comes down towards 18 and 19 does the Red Bull, the championship leader, who had an astonishing race in Bahrain. Some very good stuff. Dave on the back of JT, we saw him have a bit of a topsy-turvy moment a lap before, but JT and Dave both driving well. Everyone driving pretty well and consistently for Singapore. Vons as well on the back of Storm for that last points paying position. Of course, very close in terms of points. It goes 16, 12, 10, and then just 8, 7, 6, something along those lines. Very, very close in terms of points. So every position matters, especially in this shorter season. Every round is around about 10% of the points worth, so that's a very much more considerable amount than normal. But yeah, it's very close. He needs to maximise the points he can get.
He really does. I'm just going to say, somebody in the chat has said, Josh has more seconds of penalties than I've had hot dinners. That is certainly a fun fact, but now we've got Vons going on the back of CLE Storm, or not close enough to make a move. We're getting to this point in the Grand Prix as Jimmy Allen is going to get past Cito, going down towards turn 7. We're at this point in the Grand Prix where things are starting to spread out, things are starting to get a bit cooler, everything's calmed down, and like, we're not going to see as many moves. I think we're in this part of the Grand Prix now.
Yeah, well, still got Vons on the back of Storm for the last points per position, so a little bit of an ignition to the fire. Very close on the braking towards turn 13 as they go back onto the back straight with DRS open. Can he get the move done? Got a bit of DRS left to use. Not going to use it though. Interesting enough is the McLaren happy to sit behind the racing point and maybe wait for a move down towards turn 7 or something of the sort. Felix on the back of Davey and on the back of JT soon as well, so he needs to get these move done quickly. Jamie left the session. But a lot of crucial battles going on. Felix, probably most important, he's closing on Davey. Can he get the move done using his energy recovery system? And it looks as though Davey is not going to fight this one too hard. Going to let the provisional race leader through. Very nice racecraft from the Williams to just let him through. Very, very nicely done. He's going to maybe stay with the Red Bull, maybe help him and, you know, use the Red Bull to propel him up the grid. If Felix can get past, maybe then Davey can have a little look on a compromised JT. If he's playing the long game, very much well played to him, and he's going to sit behind and wait for Felix to try and close up on to JT. Vonis and Storm still pretty close. Maybe he's got a lot more ERS to use. He's probably sieging Storm out, waiting for the moment where he can use it all, because Storm having to defend with the ERS and Vonis with a lot more to use. So he's just going to bank it up, sit behind. He's happy at this point. He's probably going to take the point later on in the race. 17 to 31, still a long way to go, and it's not all done yet. Maybe another safety car could spice things up. JT on the back of Warren though.
GT is on the back of Warren. What can he do now coming into this DRS strain? Coming out of the hairpin, all bitter sliding from Felix, who is on the back of this. What will Jay Tyler do? Will he look for a move? But no, Felix is too far back as well. Felix is really flying right now. Stiggy and Lewis still got to pit in, so if Felix can get past these lot, that is him into net P2 behind Ace Phelps, and then chase down after Ace Phelps. That will be the win. But who knows, we've still got about... Oh, Felix! As I say that, makes a huge mistake. So we've got a Red Bull sat in P1, we've got a Red Bull sat in P6. Slightly reminiscent of something that happened at the weekend.
Definitely is.
And we know which ones... We know which one out of the two is the quicker one, to say the least. I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to be like this because people will be like, oh, blah, 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 blah. But say that Felix is a quicker driver. What can Felix do now on the back of Jay Tyler? Both drivers using ERS. Will Felix send it? No, got to save that ERS as Jay Tyler decided to send it. And look at this. Oh, Jay Tyler, sorry, gets a bit of contact there with Felix. I think, in my opinion, Jay Tyler just cut straight off Felix there, because Felix had his front wing there, and Jay Tyler just came straight across. That was not that clean, and coming in from last week, he was pretty alright, but coming into this week, he's living up to what you told me about him.
Well, I mean, he's always been one to aggressively defend, and it's probably no surprise, but he is hanging off, and I'm not confused. He knows he's not in the same race as Felix, and probably should do something similar to Davey. Of course, he's more than entitled to that track position. He's going to defend it as hard as he likes for that P4 place. But he's got a penalty. He's only going to be hurt in his own race if he fights this. I'm not too convinced he's going to take those hards to the end. It'd be a bloody miracle if he does, but he's not in the same race as Felix, and Felix is definitely going to have to earn his stripes to get through the championship leader on the back of his championship rival. Of course, these two 1-2 in the championship, reverse positions on track, 4th and 5th. Felix is going to have to get his way through the hard way, it seems. JT is not going to be working with him for the long game. DRS open, not going to have to run into T1, and he's not got the energy recovery system left, unlike JT, who's got a buttload left to use, and Felix having to use it to break out the DRS of Josh earlier in the race and having to catch up with this massive train in this second stage of the race. So it is very much dwindling thin, but he's got the raw pace. He's going to have the run off of turn 5. He's going to have the DRS. He's going to use the ERS. Is the closing speed enough? He is closing. He's closing JT to the inside. There is space on the inside. Is he going to set the dummy? To the outside goes Felix. Going to set up a nice little cutback. Have a look to the outside. This is where Grosjean and George had a bit of a tussle. Side by side they go. A bit of contact, but it's still going to be two abreast coming towards turn 8, I do believe, and that is going to be Felix up into P4. Yellow's reset the one as someone has retired, but JT through thick and thin tried to hang on, but Felix just about managed to squirm his way in front. Very nice racing between the two, but JT was not giving that up easily.
I noticed going into that corner there, JT tried turning in on Felix, trying to force Felix into a mistake by rubbing against him. Cito now leaves the session. I've had 4 retirees out of this Grand Prix so far, but I don't think there's any point in Jay Tyler trying to push for this, because 13-lap-old hards against 5-lap-old, it's a no-brainer who's going to come out on top.
And it's Felix. He's somehow managed to tame these streets better than anyone so far in this race. He's got astonishing pace, and even as we were saying in quali, you know, you've got raw pace in quali. Will you have raw pace in the race? He's certainly got them both.
Lewis and Sticky are in.
Ooh.
And Ace Phelps is now the race leader. Felix is now going to want to chase down after Ace Phelps. 7.4 seconds between them. Got 11 laps to do that. Oh, see what can happen now. Stiggy's gone onto another set of mediums. Aero Specialist is catching to the back of Storm now. What can they do? Stiggy is going to come out the pit lane in P11. Whilst Lewis came out in P7. That is a good strategy from Lewis. But somebody just said something in the chat. Wait for it to load on the stream. Who spins on a safety car restart? Noobs. James put in the chat.
I'd definitely love to see you come do better.
Yeah, we won't talk about what you did then. But anyway, that is a move done for Aero Specialist. No special thing going on. But Vance is coming to catch up to this battle now. It's all kicking off at the back here, whereas the front, it's very much like just hunt down, as somebody else has said in the. Let's wait for the chat to load on the stream. Oz Vance got a very, and James has put no mentions.
What I'm finding pretty interesting here, Brent, does Ace Phelps have anything to lose? He's got 6.1 behind to Felix, as we see Stiggy just dive up the inside of Vonis and make quick work of that with those fresh medium tyres.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, does Ace stay out and risk it? Stiggy with a 3-second penalty. Does Ace stay out and try and hold off Felix for another 11 laps or so, or does he pit and bite the bullet? He'll probably come out around where Lewis is if he pits now, which could be close. But it's all kicking off in this midfield. Very much a conga line between them. John heading it and Lewis managing to break free from it. Starting from the back of the grid, now P7. Great points all from the Red Bull, as that is now John going into the pit lane and hopefully not coming straight onto the track in front of the McLaren of Aero Specialist, who manages it to get up into P8 pretty easily done. But does Ace stay out or does he pit, Bryn?
Ace should stay out, in my opinion. He's very smart with strategy, I will say, as I do know, but I think he should stay out because it's much better going for P2 than it is going for P6, for example, P8. It's much better to go for the podium, so we'll have to wait and see. But it's very heating up back here. I'm going to have to keep this battle on between everybody back there. Seems like outside the top 10 they're fighting for the last points positions, whereas at the front it's just hunt, hunt, hunt.
Yeah. Definitely a lot of catching up things to do. Josh obviously on the back foot after his second, or well, I should say his first stop on those heights, really struggled to get them warmed up. But if only the fight for the race lead was as entertaining as this one for the final couple of points per positions. Lewis on the back of Josh though is going to go for it up the inside of turn 14. Very nicely done. Still going to be side by side as the Haas and the Red Bull, the mediums, going to have the inside coming towards this corner, this little chicane. It'll be the inside again for the Haas. Still going to be side by side. He's going to keep the foot and around the outside. Great battling between these two, and the Haas forced to tuck in after that one. Very, very close. Very fine line racing. But Josh now on the back foot, and these mediums are charging. The Bull is now charging towards the top 5, and he's on the back of the Ferrari. Not a lot of energy recovery system to use, but he's got the pace and he's pushing the Ferrari through the final corner. And then with drag reduction towards turn 1, hasn't got the closing speed, but it'll be a launch up the inside into turn 1, going to be side by side. Again, it'll be the inside for turn 2, but then again in the inside for turn 3 for the Red Bull, who's going to squeeze his way up the inside and still going to be 2 abreast coming towards turn 5. The Haas just trying to find his way through, find a place to take up on track. He's going to get the cutback on the Ferrari. That move by Lewis is going to help him out, but he's not got the drive of turn 5 he'd have wanted to get himself up into the top 6. But here comes the Ferrari back on Lewis, darting back up the inside, and there goes the Red Bull then soaring up the inside. Bit of contact as he locks up, goes off the track. Not the first time we've seen a Red Bull go off the track and get a position, but he's going to keep it on this occasion. Now that's Lewis into the top 5. Great bit of racing between those 3 then.
That was very good racing, but all I'm going to say is you saying about Red Bull going off track, I know what you were hinting to there, but if you think about it, Valtteri Bottas did that in 2019 to Max Verstappen at Bahrain, but yet he didn't get told to give the position back. So personally, in my opinion, were the FIA being a bit race control being a bit biased, because they were told by race control to give the place back to Lewis. And anyway, let's go back to this. Josh Sidney is right in the back of Warren now, whereas Felix is trying to bring down that gap between Ace Phelps and him. Felix had an almighty race. The gap between him and JT now is 6.4.
Crazy stuff. But Lewis, I'm saying, he's going to be on the podium at this rate. He is flying. He's got a long time to make it up, and he's already in the DRS of Davey. Both of them have penalties, so he just needs to get within 3 seconds of JT, which is easily what he's going to be able to do. Is he going to go for it into turn 1? But Lewis in a very good position to take a very good point, so a double podium for Red Bull maybe, and Felix closing in, chipping away every lap, silently closing down the AlphaTauri in front. This is heating up to be a good fight for, well, P3 and for P1.
As Lewis is now getting past Davey easily there. Simple move down the straight. But if Lewis can close this gap to Jay Tyler, or at least stay within the 3 seconds, as you said, there's a podium. Well, just to comment on time penalties, JT has got 3 seconds, Davey has 5, Josh has 12, Warren has 3, Stiggy has 6, Voince has 3, staying with Jimmy Allen. Thanks, sorry. Aero Specialists have 3 and 6 between them. But the gap is closing very quick between Lewis and JT, so that is a very likelihood that he will get past without having to worry about that penalty. But Felix is getting right close to Ace Phelps now. With only 8 laps left of this Grand Prix, going to be 7 in a minute. This has been a very good race. As now Jimmy Allen's into the points. Voince going very slow there, must have had a slight issue. I did miss that sadly, but Stiggy is now on the back of Warren on the fresh mediums. They're going to be going to the end, of course, as Lewis sets the fastest lap. That is a Red Bull with the fastest lap now. Double Red Bull podium, as now Lewis is going to be right close to the back of Jay Tyler, but also Stiggy right on the back of Warren Haig. But we'll go on board with Lewis as he is closest to the second of the straights now. DRS will be opened. They've got little ERS though against Jay Tyler, who has got a lot more than them, but that was a fairly simple move to say the least. But now let's go back on board with Stiggy, who is now going for the move on Warren Haig. Mercedes on Ferrari, Ferrari on Mercedes, going down the straight and down towards turn 7, and that was a very easy move. As now Lewis has got a 3-second time penalty. Luckily he's past Jay Tyler, who has got a 3 second as well, otherwise that could have been their race over. But now Felix is on the back of Ace Phelps, going into the hairpin. This could be a simple move hopefully, and that is Aero Specialist. Safety car is out.
Whoa, this is a massive curveball. This is huge implications for
Wait,
the
hold on, let's
race.
have a look at this. If somebody's... Oh, there's nobody close enough to see this. That was...
Oh.
Let's see who pits in, that's the question.
Ace Phelps could be in a very good position. Just needs to white line it for the next 4 laps. Both probably going to come in for the softs. And Lewis as well in a good position. He just needs to... He just didn't need to get that penalty. He could have had a race at the run. Well, a run at the race lead if hadn't he got that penalty. But this is going to bunch the grid up. We're going to have a very tight
Ace
last
is in.
sprint to the
Felix
race.
staying
Ace is
out.
in. Felix staying out. No, is he? No, he is staying out. Yeah, he's going for the track position. This
Is
could
Lewis
cost
staying
him.
out? Lewis is staying out. Jay Tyler's coming in. Davey, what will Davey do? Davey's going to come into the pit lane. Josh Sedney's going to follow suit. Sticky is going to stay out. Warren Haig is coming in. Jimmy Allen, let's see what Jimmy does along with his teammate. I doubt both of them will pit in, but we could see it happen. Jimmy's coming into the pit lane. Oh, at last minute, Sealy Storm decides to double stack, and that's, well, 3-second time penalty, but that's deserved because he went off track there and then came back into pit lane. Now Black Phoenix comes in. Let's see what Reds and Tunetank do. Quite far back, but it is a Red Bull 1-2.
On the streets of Singapore, I mean, I believe that they run the higher rake. They seem to work at the more technical circuits. So I mean, definitely working for them, even if it is unequal. We'll look at the pretend side of things that the high rake is working for them. 1-2, but it could get feisty between these two. Lewis on the fresh mediums, Felix hanging on those hards. Confident to go to the end, but they're going to have an entire field outside the podium on those fresh softs. They are going to be chased down and hunted for those final places, and this is going to be very, very close.
Jonathan's on the medium, so...
Well, that's certainly unconventional.
That is, considering we've only got 6 laps left, they would have easily gone to the end. So that is interesting, but now we're going to have to wait. I would say at least lap 27 before the safety car comes in. Say, minimum. So it probably will be a 4-lap sprint to the end, as you did predict earlier on. Just when the safety car started, you said it probably would be a 4-lap sprint.
Yeah, I mean, they were only going to get 1 lap of DRS, so the guys with the tyre disadvantage could hang on for this. And of course, Felix without a penalty, Ace without a penalty as well, going to put themselves into good positions. They don't need to make any rash judgments. They don't need to defend if they don't need to. They can just they can chill. Of course, Ace is on the back foot a little bit and requires to chase after people, so probably needs to send it a little bit more than the tyrant up in front. That is Felix, who's controlled this race from start to finish so far, but he's going to have a bit of pressure now for this 4-lap sprint. But 3 laps, of course, until DRS is enabled. They're going to have 1 lap of DRS enabled, which could make things interesting, could help these guys hang on.
Certainly, as everybody is starting to catch up, apart from Reds, who's still 20 seconds off of Jonathan. Jonathan is still 18 seconds off of CPI Black Phoenix. Well, if we look at this, there's a minute and 26 Reds has got to catch up between him and Felix, so a long time. So I'd definitely say could be another lap before the safety car comes in.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
It's gonna be something enjoyable to watch. All drivers go neck and neck to the end.
I mean, a lot of softs. It's pretty much your screen filled with red, almost as much as it was with the little broadcast box coming up with the thumbs down coming up earlier. It's pretty much a similar story than that, but the red's really much dominating the tower. So they're going to have a massive advantage, but will they be able to make the most of it? Of course, they don't want to battle amongst themselves if they want any chance of getting to the top 3. Ace probably in the best positions of the bunch. No penalties on the softs. He's looking very good. And if he can clear Stiggy, if he can clear Lewis, it's going to be pretty much a head-to-head race between him and Felix. And it's very much roles reversed. It's now Ace chasing down Felix as opposed to Felix chasing down Ace.
It really is. Maybe we'll just have to see how the raw paces, because them softs could start overheating and die off quick. Azuki Azim is put in the chat. Red stop for at least 15 seconds after coming out of the pits. Very strange. Well, Reds is back in the pit lane again, and comes out pit lane. Okay. That is questionable. Yeah. Yeah, very much. Oogie, I can agree with that fact. Maybe he really is trying to help out his teammate, to say the least. I don't... Oh, CPI Black Phoenix has been passed by Tunetank. Oh,
Picked up a
okay.
5-second penalty on his way there.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, Singapore definitely not being too kind to everyone. Safety car another lap. This Ferrari is just holding everyone up. They're all itching to go. These soft guys want to get it going.
This,
The longer they stay out, the
I
more of
think,
advantage the medium's going to be at.
this is where I think Rez is trying to help out his teammate. To try and help his teammate have as little time, but have as much chance. Oogie, do you know? I'm just going to ask Oogie in the chat something. Do you know if it's illegal to properly cause another lap of the safety car? Because, in my opinion, I would punish him for doing that because, well, I wouldn't, but then I would if you get what I mean. CLE Storm's back in the pit lane as well. It's just like, yeah, it's something that if it was an accident, for example, I could understand them having to cause another lap of the safety car. But this is where I'm just like, why? Just why?
He's robbing us.
Tunetank is getting past CPI Black Phoenix. CPI Black Phoenix just got back in front of Tunetank.
And Black Phoenix been given some end plate damage. Well, it's all kicking off in F11 then.
Yeah, I'm just going to go on to
events.
Twitch quickly and see if he is live. He doesn't seem to be.
Very interesting. Well, we'll have to see what the stewards say about it. Of course, very good stewards at PSGL that will probably get to the bottom of it pretty quickly and see, and we'll probably give you an update on that next week. Or, well, Bryn will.
Yeah, I will
give you an update on that next week. But, yeah, well, interesting turn of events then. Black Phoenix been given another 5-second penalty. Is he brake checking the AlphaTauri behind him? Safety car in this lap, though, is finally as the game's probably decided we can't wait any longer for that Ferrari. We've given him as much as we can. He's not going to catch up, so he's going to sit behind 15 seconds back. He's still got the rest of the lap to catch up if he really, really wants to, but that's probably going to be his race over, or at least any slim chance he had of winning this race. Felix then needs to get a crucial start. He needs to hold these guys off the start, needs to get off to a good one, because this restart is going to determine how good, how well he's going to be able to drive the next 4 laps. He doesn't want to get swamped. He needs to control the pace, make sure everyone behind him gets off to a worse start. As
Black Phoenix, another penalty. But you ready? He's going to go for it now. He's going. He caught Lewis a bit off guard there. Oh, he's backed off. Oh, maybe he got what I got with the safety car restart issue. But anyway, he's got a gap between him and his teammate now. He's going to be hunting down Sticky on the back. But, oh, Ace has been punted by the likes of Jay Tyler by the looks of things. Jay Tyler seemed to have just punted Ace Phelps. As now CPI Black Phoenix is in the pit lane. Okay, well, it's heating up again. As I did say, it got quieter, but obviously it hasn't because, of course, the safety car restart. Is Jay Tyler going to send it on his teammate? Oh, he is, from far back. Ooh, that is brave.
Fair enough.
That was fair enough. But now he's going to chase down after these Red Bulls. Well, I wonder if Lewis will be a good teammate and hold him up, but it seems like Lewis wants to fight his teammate, but I don't see a point, if you know what I mean, because Lewis has got a penalty. There's no point in fighting. You might as well just sit behind and defend off Jay Tyler, if you get what I mean.
If he's got the pace and he can get past and go, then certainly if he wants to win this race, I mean, the strategy would be get in front of Felix and feed him to JT to have them scrap it out. And he's got the medium pace. We saw in that middle stint he had some incredible pace compared to those guys, and it's now a 3-horse race at the front, 2 of which have penalties. Felix just needs to hang on. 28 of 31. It's all been boiling down to this. We've had a few safety cars, we've had a few VSCs, but this is pretty much what it's been. Felix at the front, Lewis from the back of the grid, JT, the championship rival, up there in P3. This is probably the best top 3 we could have asked for, but no DRS, of course, overtake. He needs to get through soon if he wants to.
Oh, Lewis got off track.
again. 2 warnings probably for that infringement there, but the 2 balls then not giving up. He has a little look into turn 1. Not the best move to make at all. Doesn't want to pull a Kvyat in 2019, but coming through then into turn 3, JT really looking there, ready to pounce on the 2 balls that are charging up in front, leading the way. But he's not going to have DRS, but he's going to have a good run off turn 5. He needs a good launch, bit squirmy. Goes Lewis now. This is the fight for the race lead. Mediums versus hards. He's using his overtake. He's closing, but is it going to be enough towards turn 7? He's going to have to back off, and JT now trying to stay on the back of him. So yeah, not getting close enough. When will they have DRS, Bryn? Next lap? He could just be waiting.
It will be next lap, but F1 Hub has said that he knows Felix and Lewis very well, and there's no way Lewis will sit behind. So could be a bit of tension between the Red Bulls. Could we see a bit of a Ricciardo and Verstappen moment? Anyway, hopefully that does not happen. I am not trying to give anybody commentators curse. That is a very common thing with PSGL for some reason. Commentators curse happens a lot, but no moves really happening. It just seems everybody's just sitting behind each other.
Going single file 1 by 1. It seems that Josh Sidney had a massive moment coming off turn 13 there. Really less than ideal. And from pole, it seems as though we've got a pole curse happening. Of course, we had the pole last week had a bit of a shocker, and now Josh has been caught up. Ace Phelps on the back of Stiggy. We said he would be the favourite to win, but he's not got the start he wanted. He's still on penalties, can be up into the podium, but just needs to play his cards right for the next couple of laps. And it is still neck and tail at the front.
DRS is enabled.
This is now what it is. 30-31 penultimate lap. This could get close. Felix going to be white lining the hell out of that thing to try and keep the lead. Lewis and JT needing to get their way through. JT though, he has got 3 seconds. It's Josh Sidney with a lot of penalties that I've mistaken him for, but here's Lewis then. He's going to have DRS, he's going to have ERS, he's opened it all now. He's using it all up. He wants to get through. The red light blinking of Felix means he's conserving energy. Here goes Lewis then to the inside for the race lead. The Red Bulls go side by side easily enough up the inside and claims that position. Is Felix going to have a look around the outside? Looking, but not going to convert. He probably now just wants to sit behind his teammate. Yellow flag through sector 2. What's happened there?
That is Ace Phelps.
Ace Phelps. No, the favourite to probably take a good position. Now plummeting down the order. Oh no. He's now been swamped and down to P12 with his teammate.
Out of the points as well. Josh Sidney right in the back of Stiggy. Hopefully Felix can stay within that 3 seconds of Lewis. Black Phoenix has gone and taken the fastest lap off of everybody, so nobody can have it. Josh Sidney does have the pace, but just is not using the advantage. Jay Tyler's starting to struggle on them softs, I think. But there's more action. That is Josh Sidney. Josh Sidney is around. With damage. But Lewis is leading this race right now. 9/10 between him and his teammate. We'll now come around the final corner for the second to last time. The white flag will be waved. Well, sorry, this isn't iRacing, but in iRacing right now, the white flag would be waved to the drivers, showing that it is the last lap of this race. Lewis leads his teammate Felix, Jay Tyler and Sticky in P3 and P4. P5 is Warren, P6 Davey, P7 is Jimmy, P8 is Royans, and now Josh Sidney is out, retiring in the pit lane. Reds is in 9th. Somebody's asked, what are the warnings for Lewis? And Felix, of course. Can you please give me a quick look at that? But now Davey is going for the move on Warren. Can you just give it like a quick check up?
Yes, of course. So with Felix, no warnings. Oh, he's got 1 warning, which he's probably just picked up, and then 2 warnings for Lewis. So he needs to either pull out a good gap or wait for Felix to make.
Jay Tyler's just hit the wall. Well, he's got no damage. How?
Must just be counting his lucky stars. Maybe the Mercedes pick through knows he's liable to a bit of a rough and tough with the wall, so maybe he reinforced his carbon fibre monocoque with a little bit of extra stability. But maybe who knows? He's closing down on Felix, but on the last lap it might not be enough. Felix is going to do enough to take 2 and 2 as long as he can stay with it and not pick himself up another penalty. Then through towards turn 16 and 17. These guys just need to probably just negotiate their way through calmly. We've lost a lot of drivers from this race, but it's been action-packed and it's all kicked off recently. But here comes Lewis then through the final couple of corners does the Red Bull. He will take the win on track from last on the grid. Very impressive feat nonetheless. He'll come through the final corner to take the win on track and see
But
the fireworks
Felix,
first, but on penalties, it's going to be Felix
Jay
taking 2
Tyler
and 2.
third, Stiggy will be fifth, Davey will be fourth, Warren Stiggy's dropping down to eighth. Reds will be P10, Tunetank P11, P8 is Ace Phelps, P13 will be CPI Black Phoenix. But that podium is a good podium. Red Bull and Mercedes all on the podium.
Wow. Not too far reminiscent of real life. But the 2 Red Bulls, Lewis, can I just say, astonishing stuff from the back of the grid to find himself P2, and even, you know, on track winning the race. If he hadn't picked up those penalties, he'd have won the race, and that is incredible stuff. But Red Bull 1-2, and they're going to be extending their lead in the Constructors' Championship, and Felix taking a 2nd win, and Jay Tyler in 3rd, still there, but 2 wins so far and 10 rounds. He's definitely setting himself up for a good stance in the championship.
Certainly, as the Red Bulls will now lead this. As it started raining!
Oh no!
Look, it's raining on my screen.
It is raining on mine as well. That would have been an even bigger curveball into this race.
I bet most of the drivers were relieved anyway that it's now after the race and not during the race the rain.
Yeah.
Anyway, we will see the podium finishers. That was a very good race, as you see Adrian Newey on the podium with them there. What a way to end round 2. And, well, that was very good to say at the least. Double win for Felix. Yeah. Have you got anything to say about that race? I've got to say it was a very good race from everyone there.
Very, very chaotic to say the least, and a very good race up and down. Really action-packed. With a lot of safety cars, very much a lot of curveballs thrown throughout the course of the race. But overall, very, very good race from the F11 guys. Just need to say the pole position is cursed in F11.
It really is. But anyway, I am going to end off the stream after I've announced the grid. So Felix, Lewis, Jay Tyler, the 3 podium sitters. Then after that, it is Davey, Jimmy Allen, Voyance, Storm, Warren, Stiggy, Reds, rounding out the rest of the top 10. Then in 11th we have got Tunetank, P12 Ace Phelps, P13 CPI Black Phoenix, and P14 retiring on the last lap was Josh Sidney. As somebody said, 2 Scots in the top 4. What a result. That was a good result. But anyway, I'm going to end off the stream now. I'll see you guys next week. Maybe with Zach, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see.